All right. Hey everybody. Hey YouTube. Hey Facebook. It's your girl Candace, aka Tootie, aka Toot Nugum. Now let me say something. The only reason I call myself that is because this young
Hey,
right
I'm
here.
glad you threw that out there. Hey, look, I won't go say nothing, man. But I'm like, man, when I give nicknames, they stick.
They stick.
Throw that
They
out
stick.
there, man.
And I was trying to. I said,
Toot
why
Nugum,
Kurt
man.
call me that?
Toot Nugum. I don't even know how I came with the name. It just flowed. Toot Nugum.
I don't even know why.
Hey.
But ever since you called me, that said, you know what? I'm gonna keep this and I'm gonna make this a signature. Hey y'all.
That's right.
I'm gonna make this a signature. I was like, you know what, Candace, aka Tootie. I'm gonna tag you in. There
That's
we go.
cool,
It recognize your face. Come on, Facebook, recognize the face.
Something like a
So
celebrity.
I said I'm gonna keep that Toot Nugum on there because that's a remnant of Kerm. So
Yeah.
we know that Kerm is attached to this.
Word up.
Okay? Alright, you guys. So, which I told, hey Brianna, I told Kerm earlier, for some reason, Facebook and YouTube has conspired on me and took a lot of my videos down. So, hey Tiffany, I'm going to start redoing a whole bunch of videos over with other people that I've did interviews with. And of course, Kerm was in that beginning stage for me. So, I appreciate you
No doubt. No
for
doubt.
continuing to do this work with me.
No doubt.
And so, today, I brought Kerm in. If you don't know him, he is a community worker, so he be out there doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And he also has wrote a book.
I wrote a book.
You wrote a book.
Man.
Let me tell you how good God is.
Tell them.
When somebody how long we done known each other? For years.
Years. I don't
Years.
Know. It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
It's been years, and you see your friend, who I consider really my brother, like my big brother, has wrote a book.
I wrote a book. Man.
Come on now. I am too proud.
I
Too
wrote a
proud. Hey Rob. So the book is called Please Give Me a Dollar, Journal of Life Lessons by Terence Doctor.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Man, I'm just over here blessed for real. I can't for real. Like, I'm just blessed for real.
Yes. So I wanted to bring Kerm on here so we can talk about the book. And of course we don't want to go so in depth because we want people to buy the book and actually read it. But just give us like a snippet, you know, of the why and all that stuff like that. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk with Kerm about the community service that he's still doing. So what are you still currently doing in the community?
Still doing Blueprint to Manhood, which is our program for young men aged 7 to 17. It's a free program. Still active on the Hopewell Youth Service Commission Board. I'm also a part of another committee, Who's Bad Committee. We just did equivalent to a midnight basketball in Hopewell a few days ago. Still active in Big Brothers Big Sisters. What else? Still active within the church, so shout out to Mount Olivet Young Adult Ministry.
Mount Olivet.
What else? I'm forgetting stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
Like I mean, like I would normally just pop up at events. So if somebody has a flyer or an event that's going on and I have time, like I'll just go up and just show up and kind of like ask if they need help or something like that. So that may not be in connection to any type of like that doesn't necessarily make me a part of an organization, if that makes sense. It's just I want to volunteer or something like that. So but yeah, I'm in a lot of stuff.
Well, to me, you remind me of somebody that's a philanthropist, where you just
I
don't
can't
just
even
give
spell that
money.
word.
Huh?
I said that's a long word. I can't even spell that word.
Philanthropy. You're a philanthropist, meaning a giver. Meaning you don't just give money, you give time and you give a good word and you're involved in people's lives. And and again, you remember we talked about black men and black fathers and how important it was the last time we talked, but you're actually doing the work that a lot of black men don't do. And if they do it, we don't really see it as much because it's not as promoted. Your rappers, your singers, your entertainment stuff is more promoted than, you know, real work like this. Like I'm a social worker. I work in the mental health field for a long time. I'm in foster care. That's not out there promoted. Because it's not entertainment and it's not entertainment, but it's real work. That's getting done. That's actually helping the community. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to keep shining the light on our own community about what we're doing out there and how important it is, because they ain't about to call T.I.
No.
You know what I'm saying? T.I. ain't about to come down here and help you with Nathan.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You got to go to your person that is in the community, somebody you can reach out to, your neighbor, your friend, a stranger on the street to give you a good word. That's who you can call, real people. So I feel like Terrence is the one you can call for some good work.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm humbled by that.
So, which we were talking before, you did the documentary on Man Listen. So I missed it. I didn't have anybody to watch my kids, but I really wanted to see it. So please tell me how that documentary was.
The documentary was good. I actually got tagged in a post by one of my good friends, Nikita Mitchell. It had been posted on Quality Legacy, so shout out to Quality Legacy Films, because if it wasn't for them, I would have been on there. But it was they pretty much put out a post looking for black men who wanted to speak about mental health. So like I said, Nikita had tagged me in it, and I thought about it for a long time whether I should do it or not, because I knew that meant me having to be open about some stuff that I really wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had to be transparent. Now, I don't really have a hard time being that transparent, but when you're talking about something that, especially within the black community, like we don't really talk about, we just think that we can just pray everything away, which, you know what I'm saying, like
you gonna make me holler. You gonna make me holler.
Like we can't pay everything away, so it's more so like we gotta get more in depth. So I thought about it, I was like, man, do I really want to put myself out there like this? But then I was like, you know what, for real, if what I've been through can help at least one person, like go seek professional help or whatever, then I'm fair game. So that's how that came about. It was about me and about 8 guys in total. We kind of sat down at a barbershop and kind of just talked about, we kind of just had a general discussion on like what we were going through, certain traumatic experiences, how we handled it in good ways and bad ways, just being completely transparent. So it was a non-judgment zone, which is huge because, when you're opening up to somebody, the one thing you don't want to be is judged for.
Yes.
So
and
we
that's
were just
shut down right now.
Yeah, that's a shut. Oh, I'll shut down quick.
Isolation.
I
can't trust you with my information. I ain't talking to you no more. That's a bad relationship right there.
Super bad. I'll shut down quick. So they were on top of it. Like it was hard because like a lot of the guys like I had just met at the screening. So it was not only me having to be transparent, but me having to have a conversation with guys who I don't really know. Right. So it's not like my homeboys that I grew up with. It's, I just met you. All right, you gonna die? All right, now let's jump right into it. But they made it very easy to kind of talk. They made it easy. The cast, the crew, phenomenal once again. Quality Legacies, man, like did an amazing job. All female crew. So they just kind of they asked us questions and then they just let us go.
Okay, so you were like the interview type of thing where the camera and the people were right here and then you sat in the seat and they asked you questions.
Yeah, we had a one-on-one segment, then we had like a group segment.
Okay.
So we started off I think with the group segment, so it was myself right here, gentleman right here. So we was all kind of like chairs off to the side. And then at the end of it we did like our one-on-one. So we went more in depth about our personal, story. So great. It's supposed to be on Amazon, I think. Soon they're gonna let us know, but we saw the filming of it, man. It was very powerful, very powerful. So
my question is, how transparent were you? Like, did you go into, like you said, I call it a defining moment that changes your life. Like, let's say 2 people are in a relationship. The father's a drug dealer. One day the cops come in the house and they shoot him, and they have 2 or 3 kids in the house, and those children see their father die. That's trauma. That is trauma. Because then you gotta realize the father is displaced, he's dead. Mom is in the house, now she has to raise the children on her own. Then the children have to process what they've seen happen to their father. And then mom is left on her own. So she has trauma herself of losing her partner. Then having to raise the kids. The kids have trauma of losing their father. Mom being a single mother. And then seeing their father die in front of their face. So I call it like a defining moment. So it triggers a child to either go a negative route or go, hey, I can't do what my dad did or whatever. So, or like a drunken parent. You have 2 children. One either becomes the drunk or the one that says, I'm not going to be one. You know what I'm saying? So did you go into like a defining moment that changed your life? Like,
yeah, I necessarily, like, I talked a lot about, for me, I talked a lot about, like, my grandfather had died when I was 16. So I talk about how everybody grieves differently. Yeah. So, like, the way death might affect you, it might affect me totally different. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like, it's easy for me to shut off and be isolated and all that stuff because I grew up, I'm the only child. So for me, I've always been that kind of person. That's,
you like me too. I was like that too.
Yeah, like
the only child. We latchkey kids.
Exactly. So I'm essentially, it's easy for me to just not talk.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, about whatever
like
I'm going through and stuff like that. So then along with that, along with hearing, you know, certain stigmas that go on in our community, oh man, you can't be open about your emotions, you a black man, or you a man in general, but more so when you a black man, like, nah, we don't have time for you to talk about your emotions, man. If you don't shut up, suck it up, that's what we're kind of taught. So it's like, all right, so I kind of talk more about like how I grieved, how it turned me into, not turned me into, but how I went down the wrong road on a lot of things, and how I was able to, you know, kind of.
So question for me, how significant was your grandfather in your life?
Man, my grandfather was the dopest thing. For real, for me, man, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I put my grandfather above everybody. I put my grandfather above, like, my mama, my father, like.
Oh, he was real. He was
he was that guy, man. For me,
real OG.
He was, I think, you know what I'm saying, of course, like, this is, like, me assuming. But I think that at least everybody has at least one person, at least one. If you have that one person where you know, like, man, like, that's my ride or die right there. Like, that person, for me, was my grandfather. So I talk about how, you know, his health and all that stuff played a part. And then, you know, when he passed away, I was like 16. So then it was like like I kind of lost it.
I'm going to read a comment. So Sean says, I think that's amazing. It's hard to open up and talk about your feelings and emotions, especially a black man in our community.
Shout out to Keys, man.
Come on, Sean.
That's Hopewell right there.
Yes, it is.
That's Hopewell, young Kobe. Yeah, man. You know, but that's the brother right there. You know what I mean? So, you know, we just got to be more transparent. Still, hey, peace and blessings to you, man, Sean. I ain't forget, man, to you and your family, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My condolences. My condolences to Sean.
You know, that's traumatic.
It
you know
is
what I'm saying?
traumatic event.
That's traumatic. So, you know, we just gotta, you know, pray for, you know, people like Keys and, you know, other men and women within our community that, you know, when they grieve, like, you know, to gotta be there for support and not judge. So that's essentially what was the point of the documentary. You know,
so your grandfather was a pivotal point for you.
Oh yeah, my grandfather. If I had to copy anybody,
you would copy him.
I would copy him, hands down. It's not even for me. It's fairly easy.
Well, I agree with you is because my grandmother on my father's side, and you know, me and my father don't have a relationship. We call her Big Mama. She was a big pivotal point for me, and she died like a year ago. And so when she left, I felt a really big hole in my heart, and I really had to process that trauma with her leaving, because she was like a big part of me and my mother's life and my kids' life. And every time she called on the phone, she'd be like, "What an 18 at Candace?" I said, "We in here, Grandma." And she really cried because I didn't live in Louisiana. You know, I was in and out, and that's where I'm from. But I never could really live there like I wanted to. And so whenever I would come, she would always cry when I leave. And I just hated that because me and her talked on the phone a lot. She was a spiritual woman. You were talking about somebody that's going to rain down Jesus on you.
Yeah, gotta
She
have
from the old school. So, you know, she was a very spiritual woman, but she make you laugh. She was realistic. And I just loved her. That's why I definitely understand it's like that one, and it could be more than one for some people. And my mom, of course, my mother is a big pivotal point for me and my dad. I'm not knocking none of my family members. I'm just talking about one specific event with my big mama, because we were aces. So it's hard for me being one of the oldest siblings to not have her around anymore. You know what I mean? So when I tell you, I totally get it. And then we become a pivotal point for other people. They look at us, and when we go on the field, we work with people, they look at us as, you know, you said like the big brother, big sister type of thing. They might see you as that one person. And then, when, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know? And
that's the thing, like, normally, like, when somebody I love passes away, like, I just try to take the best parts of them and try to apply it within my life. So when people look at me, you know what I'm saying? When you look at me, essentially, like, you see a combination of many people. You see my grandmother, you see my grandfather, you see my friends, you see certain friends, you see certain cousins who got murdered when I was young, but I still kept there, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you're seeing me, you're seeing a combination of people. You're seeing God, of course, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're seeing a combination of, you know what I mean, people. So that way, you know, their name and their legacy never dies.
Exactly.
So that's all it is. For
so
real.
Speaking of legacy, what do you think about the whole Nipsey Hussle thing?
Man, listen, man. Nipsey Hussle, I'm not even going to lie to you. Nipsey Hussle was, and this is a transparency moment for real. When Nipsey Hussle died, I remember where I was at when I found out. I think it was right after the Michigan State and Duke college basketball game. I was at my homeboy Kennard and Courtney house, and that's when I had found out. But I say all that to say, later that night I shed tears for the homie. Like, and I'm not an emotional guy, but I shed tears for him because of he was so much more than just a rapper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was way more than a rapper.
Right.
He is one of, and my queen will tell you, he is one of the reasons why I finished that book. I listen to his music for real every day, especially like I knew who Nipsey was. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a diehard fan and all that. I'm not. We're gonna be honest. We're gonna be honest. You know what I'm saying? I knew who Nipsey was, but of course, like, we over here in Virginia, so certain people I didn't really hear of. Like, I heard of him, but I didn't really listen to his music for a while.
Right.
So like, I started listening to his music, so then I just started going back. You know what I'm saying? So I got his Victory Lap album, and like, I was playing that every day. Yeah. Then with me playing that, I would go back. So I went back and I listened to Crenshaw. I would listen to different mixtapes he had. So when I found that out, man, it hurt. It hurt because he is essentially the role model that you know you strive, especially a black man. Like, he wasn't just talking it; he was actually doing it. So when he say buy the block, he actually bought the block.
Bought the block.
When he was talking about, you know, how he used to be this, but now he's this. Right. Like, he's one of those people that you could really look at and say, you know what, this dude is actually doing everything he said. He's doing more for us than the politicians that we voting for, or the pastors that we go pay our tithes to at church or something like that. So to see him actually do it,
come on, Kern.
For me, man, that
Kern got some preach, y'all. He trying to hide that preach.
Now everybody keep telling me that.
We hear that preach.
Man, listen.
Let me look at these comments.
I'm just gonna be like,
let's see. Cynthia says, what was the trigger that made you realize you had to pull yourself together after the experience? For me, it was God and prayer, and knowing that person left a good foundation for me. What about you?
What was the trigger?
To help you pull yourself together after that person. It took a lot of prayer for me. I had to do a lot of prayer. A whole lot of prayer.
Alcohol.
I love honesty. I love it.
I gotta be honest. Alcohol is extremely heavy. Alcohol and drugs. Alcohol and drugs is extremely plays a major part on both sides of my family.
Gotcha.
So unfortunately, when it comes to alcohol, like, I was drinking heavy.
Wow.
So for me, it was, I guess the thing that triggered it was, like, I got to a point where I got tired of throwing up all the time and just getting drunk all the time. So I had to just sit back and look myself in the mirror and kind of be on some, all right, man, enough is enough. Like, I understand you went through this, but no, we gotta pull it together. Mainly because it's like, all right, your grandfather's no longer here anymore.
Right.
It's okay to cry. Exactly. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel bad. But at the end of the day, he wouldn't want you to be moping around, drinking every day and throwing up and, you know, doing things that you have no business doing. So for me, it was, all right, man. It started with a lot of self-accountability. Okay. It started with a lot of, all right, Kerm, like, you standing in your own way right now. Like, it ain't nobody else but you. So I had to start that progress of you know, self-accountability, of course, like going to church. Like, for me, it was huge. Talking to people who
expressing
about people who can give me wise words and coach me through.
Right.
It's always good to be coached by somebody.
Yes, it is.
For real. Like,
guidance.
Guidance is huge, especially by people that you know have been through the storm. Because you got a lot of leaders that's out here that give advice on something that they don't necessarily do themselves.
Right.
So they'll just let you jump out there in the water, but while they stand around the pool and watch.
Let's see what Dominique says. Dominique says, the more we continue to show the truth, the more connected we will be. Masculinity is not defined by not showing your true emotions. Masculinity is defined by being real with yourself. Expressively, when you get into a relationship, aspects that one of the key aspects you need to function in a relationship, showing your emotional side to one another. That's good, Dominique.
Who's that, Dav?
She's right there. Dominique.
Dav. Yep. Whole world in the building, ain't y'all?
Yep.
Yeah, buddy. That's Dav.
That's a good word,
my boy
right there.
Dav, man.
Let me just be one to put it out there in my eyes. He is the black Jesus of this generation. Why?
You gotta be talking about Nipsey.
Because now we have an actual person in the physical presence that people actually seen walk this earth. Meaning he was about what he talked about, what he rapping. And like you said, I didn't really know Nipsey Hussle until him and Lauren London got together. And then I was like, who is this? So then I started hearing his music. I was like, okay, he's pretty good. I like him. And then for me, more so I was hearing his community work is kind of how I got more attached. You know me, I'd be like, well, what you doing? What you doing for the community? I hear you rap music and that's cute and all, but what you doing? So when I look back on those old tapes that Nipsey did, he was like, look, I'm trying to be a businessman. I don't know what the rest of y'all trying to do.
He was like
I'm trying to do some business. I'm trying to get some assets. I'm trying to buy, this lot out. It was like, he just wasn't talking about gangbanging, even though he was a part of that. But he came out of it and he was trying to do something for his community, and to have someone kill him behind that, and whatever Eric's reasons was. And his family is also reaping some stuff behind this too. I think his brother committed suicide. There's a lot of stuff going on his side of the family too. But it marks you too when you kill somebody that's prevalent. Just like when they killed Jesus. That puts something on the back of your head.
It always
Watch what you do, because you reap what you sow. So you sow bad, you gonna get bad. You sow good, you gonna get good. So you better watch how you treat people. So I'm biggie on watching how you treat people. Please be respectful. Even what you say behind people's back, be mindful of what you say, because you're gonna reap that thing.
That's true.
So
that's true.
So all right, so let's go into the purpose of your book. Please give me $1. Journal of Life Lessons. So why did you want to write this book?
Yeah, I gotta soak that in one time. It really hasn't really soaked in completely that I'm an author.
You wrote a book, Kern.
Like I wrote a book.
You wrote a book, Kern.
Essentially, in a nutshell, what the book is it's a journal. It's my personal journal that I made public.
Wow.
That's it. Like I'm in this. The way I set the book up, it's not like a. Because I've been working on this book since I was about 23, 24. Then I sat the book down for years, and then I picked it back up, and I was like, and I changed the concept of it. Because at first, like I didn't want it to have the same format as the first page is, I was born, da 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 da. Not knocking anybody else, but for me, like I didn't want that. Like I wanted it to be like a journal format, but it's like key nuggets throughout the book. So it's just my journal made public. So I talk about depression. I talk about times where I thought about killing myself. Times I thought about my spiritual walk with God. I talk about some things like you talking about. Sometimes it's people who are the closest that hurt you the most. Stuff like that. So I talk about a lot of issues that. There's poetry in there, like it's a poem in there that I wrote. I think it's 1 or 2 poems that I wrote when I was like 13 or 14, and I just happened to stumble across it, and I was like, yo, I need to put that in the book. So it's just a journal made public.
Journal made, so it's your personal
My personal experience. Everything in that book is 100% me, and I write like I talk. Because the way I formatted
I know
it's
gonna be good.
Yeah, I write exactly how I talk. So
it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like right now we're sitting here having a conversation. So I want it to be like whoever's reading it, I want them to feel like we sitting there having a conversation. That's it. Yeah. So
that's good. Because we call it being engaging or interacting with your audience. So that because it makes it more real when somebody feels like y'all part of the conversation instead of just one side. Like the question. Well, here's the questions and the answers. No, let's be interactive.
Yeah.
And so people can identify. So can you give us like one experience in the book that you can?
One experience in the book. Let me think. Hold on. The book right here. I'm tripping. I'm gonna just choose one. All right. I'm gonna go with this one. All right. So I said, I constantly pray for my family and my friends that they only receive true happiness because I only want what's best for them. So if something is not meant for them to have, marriage, relationship, career, location, etc., I don't want them to have it. I don't pray for their downfall. I pray for them to be truly happy and for God to give them what is meant for them. There's no sense in going through life unhappy because you have something that's not meant for you to have. You can only fake being happy for so long before the truth is exposed.
Come on now.
So I'm that friend. That's 100% true. So, and I've told my friends this, bro. Listen,
that's real, right there.
It ain't meant for you to have that job. I honestly don't want you to have it.
Right.
A job may pay good or whatever, but if it's gonna come with all types of stress and all that stuff, I only want what's meant for my family and my friends.
Right.
True happiness, man. Like ain't no need in faking smiling. You can only fake smile, but for so long. You can do it for a good little minute, but after a while, your cheeks gonna start hurting.
You're like,
yeah. At some point, it's going. You know what I'm saying?
Hurts.
So at some point, it's like, man. I want, because not too many people like are truly happy. I'm talking about in every area of their life, like truly happy.
Right.
Man, that's what I want for my friends, my family. You know what I mean? For everybody, for real, to find your true happiness. So.
For me, I say let God's will be done in people's lives. Because I don't want to determine what's good and not good for you. So I'll say, hey, whatever is for you, it's for you.
That's it.
That's it.
That is it. I only want what's meant for you to have in God's will, man. Other than that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good. So, since we were talking about, and I want to touch in on mental health, and I meant to do this with a coworker. Her name is Letitia Graham, and she worked in the mental health field with me for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And of course she did a documentary, Man Listen. So to me, to you, what is important about mental health or communication, therapy? Like, what do you think about all that type of stuff?
I think that it's something that we need to talk about more. I think that it's something that we need to educate each other more about. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's something that we all need to bring to the forefront of our communities. You know, there's nothing wrong, like, you know, we grew up in the church, you know, so there's nothing wrong with God, obviously. Like, we understand that He is the supreme for those who actually believe or whatever. Whatever your faith is, it's cool. Like, I'm not saying you got to do it, but for me, like, I was always taught that God is, you know what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with that, but God also created some pretty awesome therapists out here. He's also created some pretty dope counselors out here. So everything, in my personal opinion, can't be prayed away. So we have to change our mindsets to understand that it's first okay to go to counseling.
Yes,
it's okay to go to counseling or seek any type of professional help.
Right.
You know, within our community, sometimes, you know, if you say you want to go to counseling, somebody say you're crazy. So because you're crazy, now it's like, well, they said I'm crazy, so now I'm not gonna go.
There you go.
And think about it, we live, not all of us, but some of us live in traumatic, in neighborhoods or households where we should definitely be seeking counseling. But we don't do it. So what we're essentially doing is we're passing that down to our kids and our future kids because we're not really ready to take that self-accountable step to say, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and go to this counseling and see what can help.
Right.
So.
And it's so good you say that because my mom was like, because I worked in the mental health field for a while, it kind of opened her eyes up. She came from the old school, you know, where our families didn't really talk about stuff. You swept it under the rug. You went to church and you gave it to Jesus. I was like, well, how you go to church and give it to Jesus? What you do with that after you didn't heard the pastor to get a word? Well, go home and read your word. Okay, so after I read my word, well, go home and pray. Okay, so after I done prayed it, there's still some natural stuff that you have to do, and I call it being balanced. So you have to be spiritually and naturally balanced. Yes, go to church if you decide to go, and that's, you know, whatever your faith is. Or if you watch TD Jakes on TV, however it works for you. You know, or not at all. So, but you still have to do that natural side. And the natural side to me is communication, expression, because when you hold that stuff and bottle it up, that does not help. Because normally we call it a negative outburst in the field, and so then it comes out 10 times worse because you lash out on people that you love closest to you because you've been holding it in for so long. And so I told my mom, I was like, if my child ever comes to me and says, Mom, I want therapy, you know I'm gonna take her real quick.
That, and the thing about it,
I'm gonna take her
and go with her
Go with her,
exactly,
and go with her, because, you know, and I will say this, in the field we kind of force our kids to go to therapy, you know what I'm saying? But, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you also have to realize when a person is ready and when they're not ready for it. So if you see a resistance and an apprehension to it, don't force that person. Let them, you know, come in on their own time. And when they're ready, they're gonna come to you and say, you know what, this is too much for me. I've had too much trauma. I need to go ahead and go.
Right.
So have you gone to therapy yourself?
Man, I say all that to say no. Alright, here's why. Listen. Alright.
Wait.
For real, like, no. You have to find. Alright. I've always been curious about therapy. However, I do know a lot of therapists. I do know a lot of life coaches, and I do know a lot of like pastors or preachers or whoever. Right. So it's not like I was just sitting around not getting advice. Like I know, like to go back to what we said earlier. Like all of us, in my personal opinion, may have that one person where we feel like, you know what, when it comes to advice, like this person always gives me good advice.
Right.
They always give me good advice. Even when I don't want to hear it. They always give me good advice. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So for me, it was like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to this person. Mm-hmm. And they gave me good advice. Now, for me personally, I'm going to go to counseling at some point anyway. So no matter how good my life is going, I just, you know what I mean? For me, like I know I'm going to. Right. But starting off, I didn't do that. I just found the people that was like close to me and it was like at least in that field.
Yeah.
So they gave me the type of advice that I needed. So
then you got it anyway. So you wasn't in nobody's office.
Yeah, I just wasn't in somebody's office. So I eventually got it. But it's like you said, as far as like, you know, no matter how God how much God a person might have, you know what I'm saying? Because some people don't normally talk about it. Like, man, look, Judas messed around and betrayed Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. But then after he betrayed Jesus, he went to go do what? He killed himself. Nobody thinks about that. Now, mind you, how you around Jesus every day, and all of a sudden, suicide rate among Christians is high. Why?
That's stuff. But guilt lived with him. The spirit of guilt was with him because he felt bad about what he did. Exactly.
So, how do we? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like you said, like everything just can't be prayed. Like you said in the older generation, we can't just sweep everything under the rug.
You cannot. So I mean, I definitely agree. I wanted to do therapy. I had a coworker named Michelle. She ended up dying. Her boyfriend he murdered her and then murdered himself. That was on the news. And after that, it really like rocked our whole agency because she sat right across from me, and me and her got real close like this. And she was only with us for like a month. And the next thing, my supervisor had called me. She was like, "Michelle died." I said, "What you mean, Michelle died? I just seen her yesterday. What you talking about?" And that's when the news started popping up, and we found out that it was her boyfriend, and she was trying to leave him. And so what we didn't know is he had a lot of mental health issues prior, and she was, sometimes, and this is women, it's our fault. We feel like we want to help our man, and he needs to help himself. You be his support, but you can't be his God. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be nobody's God. That means you worshiping me. I want all that responsibility. I can't take it. You know what I'm saying? So to me, he kind of looked at her as, his God, and he was like, if I can't have you, then can't nobody else have you, and then I want to die too. So he ended up killing her and then himself, and then they found him in an apartment or whatever. Man. And she had a twin sister, and her name was Nicole, and it just really rocked all the agency, the family, and all that stuff like that, the viewing and the funeral for her, and I really miss her a whole lot. She was like a young sister to me, so that was traumatic for me. And we actually the therapist that came into the place to sit down and talk. I didn't want to talk at first. Because I was just mad about the whole situation. I was angry with him. I wanted to dig his ass out the grave. Excuse my language. And I wanted to beat him up.
We transparent, man. We be transparent.
When I tell you, I wanted to bring him back out the grave and beat him up. I wanted to beat him up for doing what he did because she was such a jewel. And she was young, just starting off her life, and she had so much to give, and I could see it. And I was ready to just pour all the wisdom into her, being a pivotal point in her life. And so condolences to the family again, and we went to the funeral, and it was just hard. So the therapist came. We did group therapy. And so before I knew it, I started crying and I expressed and I let it all out. So I definitely agree that therapy is important. So even if you can do group therapy, if you don't want to do individual, because that helps because it feels like support. So you're not by yourself.
That's right.
Like even those AA meetings when it's like more than one person. Hi, it's Alcoholic Anonymous.
I was close to going to one.
I'm a drunk.
I was extremely close to going to AA meeting.
For real?
When I was about 20.
Yeah.
I want to say that 22.
Yeah.
My alcohol intake is crazy.
It's like water.
It's like water. It
Juice
was crazy.
going down.
Yeah, but I definitely get what you're saying. Like, all right, the guy that made this shirt is a male therapist, black male therapist. Shout out to James Harris. So he's rare. Like, there's not too many black male therapists that I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
No male social workers.
Hey, it's not a lot.
It's not a lot.
It is not a lot.
It's not a lot of black male teachers.
Yep.
Black male social workers. Any counselor in that counselor in the fields that we need them, and it's not disrespecting women, of course, none of that.
I understand.
What it's saying is like Like if I wanted to go to counseling and I wanted to find a black male therapist, I would have to search really hard.
Yeah.
So,
and especially like companies I work with, when they find one, they try to keep them.
Yeah.
And so that way they won't leave. But in this field, people don't stay in the job too long because it's too stressful. Like my job is really stressful. I know I'm not gonna stay in the field for too long. But it was, especially social workers are at the highest stressful, even above police officers.
Yeah, man.
We're at the top.
Shout out to my mom. My mom was a social worker.
Come on, Mom.
Over 25 years, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
Hold on. Candace, you know what you've been pouring your heart out here, Candace Donald. She been pouring her heart out here. Shout out to Candace Donald. She being real transparent on here.
Be transparent.
I love it. Thank you, Candace, for being real.
Probably why I don't drink now. Man, listen. Drinking now is a lot different for me now than what it used to be.
Is it more social now?
It's more social now. Like now it's, all right, it's somebody's birthday or I might come home from work to grab a beer or whatever, but it's totally different now than what it used to be. Like back then, I didn't really need too many reasons to drink.
Yeah.
Yo, let me drink. Hey man, it's Friday. Let me turn up. All right, it's Saturday. Let me turn up.
Let's get lit.
Oh word.
Ready to party.
You thinking about going to drink? Well, let's go drink now. Then go do it.
Right.
Like for me, I didn't really need. Plus, what I was mentally going through. For me, alcohol was my go-to. Whereas now it's, every now and then. Is what it is.
I think you're doing so much community work. You don't have time for all that.
I really don't. Really don't.
Shout out to the queen of his.
Yeah, that's my boo-jang right there.
That fiance out there, hey girl.
Man, that's
shout out to his boo. Y'all get married soon.
That's my backbone, man. She done seen many of them. She done seen many tears, man.
Yeah.
She done seen what a lot of people haven't seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Behind closed doors, man. Yeah. Wanting to give up and having to push myself through this book or amongst other things, man.
Cause she been right there.
She was right there. A lot of self-doubt. So you gotta have somebody that's gonna push you, man. Like push you, pray for you, motivate you, and all that good stuff. So she was that and some. So she's definitely one of, if not
the biggest supporter.
Of
and your little cutie little baby.
Yeah, my boo, Paige.
She's so cute.
She probably sleep right now.
I know she is.
Her brother look just like
they
own one, but yeah, she's moving.
Yes.
So.
And you also mentioned suicide. So I know this is a hard subject for a lot of people. So just let me know if y'all do or don't want to listen. But a lot of people go through thoughts of suicide, and in the field we call it suicidal ideation, meaning thoughts that come to your head that's not of yours or it is, and it prompts you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. So have you ever had those moments where you wanted to commit suicide?
Yeah, I was 15. I think I was 15 or 16, one of them ages when I did it. I thought about jumping in front of a car.
Wow.
On Courthouse Road in Hopewell.
Wow.
I remember everything about that day. I remember everything about that day like to a T. It was a sunny day, essentially like how it is now. And I was on Courthouse Road about to jump in front of a car.
Wow.
Crazy.
So what drove you to that? What was the experience that triggered that?
It was more so I was going through something where I felt like you said, it was suicide. Like I felt like I was by myself.
Yeah.
Like I felt like it was so much going on around me. I felt like I had nobody to really talk to and listen. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like I don't even understand why I'm here. No one's
purpose.
Really. Yeah, I don't understand why I'm here. I don't understand why I'm not. Feel like I'm being listened to. So why be here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot going on at that time. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, man, I might as well just. Nobody's gonna miss me anyway, so I might as well just.
Right there.
Nobody's really gonna miss me anyway.
That's
so
that
when that happened, that thought came. It was only for real. Like I know people that have had several thoughts with suicide. For me, that was the only one that I could really remember. Where I really was going to do it. I really, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
man.
Well, and this will be my first time being real.
Transparency moment. Transparency alert. See, there it is.
Get the horns out.
Get the horns out. Get the horns out, man.
So I did try to commit suicide 2 times. But luckily God intervened and it didn't happen. And just like you, it was a traumatic event for me that I felt like, I couldn't really take it anymore, and I feel the same. And those thoughts are always the same across the board. It's like, ain't nobody gonna miss you, like you said, and people don't need you. You don't need to be here on the earth. But I had to realize how your death affects a lot of people. And when you leave, I'm leaving my children behind. They don't have anybody. You know what I'm saying? And have people, but a mother and a father is like that.
Yeah.
That point that they look to, that reference, that guardian that they look for the advice from. And I had to think about them and why I shouldn't do that. So really what brought me back to life was my kids.
Yeah.
Thinking about them and how me leaving would affect their life, because I work with a lot of kids that don't have parents. And their parents are here and they still not around. And so children don't have that guidance, and they don't know how to really walk the right road without somebody there as a matriarch or a patriarch in their life to lead them and guide them. So I had to think about them. And so I admit it.
And you know what? It takes a lot. And that's why I commend you for that. Like, it takes a lot for you to even admit that. A lot of people don't admit stuff like that.
Right.
You don't really think that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just admitting something like that. Admitting something like that could have definitely just saved somebody's life right now. Just you admitting it, you know what I'm saying? So
it's real.
It's definitely real out here.
It's real. I work with kids. I have worked with kids that, they say, put me in the hospital now because I'm about to kill myself. You don't take me there, I'm dead. And so once a person say that, it's a wrap. All right, we going straight to the emergency room. This is it. We got to get you diagnosed and medication or whatever you need right now, so that way you don't go there. So I just say, for those who are thinking about those thoughts, please reach out to people that you are close with, friends, family. If you need to call a hotline, if domestic violence, whatever it is, please reach out to those lines and call those people. It's plenty. You can go online, you can look it up. It's probably a 1-800 number. So reach out for that help. Please do. And again, therapy is good. Nothing wrong with therapy. Come on with the black community. Stop sweeping stuff under the rug. A lot of people do go to psychiatrists, psychologists. People do get diagnosed. So don't be, I would say, apprehensive to say, you know what, I need to get diagnosed. Because sometimes we deal with stuff that's past our control. So, and then a lot of people are on medication. If you don't want to get on medication, you don't have to. But for some people, they do get on medication to help them with those diagnoses that they have that a psychiatrist or a psychologist diagnosed them, with or whatever. So, but again, reach out for help. Reach out for help. So anything else that you would like to tell us before we get off of here? Got a good word, preacher, reverend?
Hey, I wrote a book.
Bishop?
Yeah, I don't got, man, listen. For real, man, every day, like, every opportunity that I get to just be active in the community, you know what I mean, for real, is a blessing. For real. Like, I don't take none of this for granted. You know what I mean? The doors that God has opened for me this year, for real, this has probably been one of the best years I've had. If not the best years, it's one of the best that I've had. Like, for real, it's just I just believe in planting good seeds, man. I done made a lot of mistakes, but I'm correcting them. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, right now, it's all about a positive vibe, man. Like, positive vibes only. Like, that's why I am, like, now just moving forward. Like, self-accountability and positive vibes. If you ain't about accountability, don't even hang around me, man. For real, like, real talk. Like, I mean, that's what I meant. Like, yeah, man. Like, I can't, man. I don't mind it, man. Like, because as a community, man, we gotta hold each other to, you know what I mean, to better, man. For real. So, because we got greatness in us, man. But we just gotta move positive, man. For real. So I'm just reaping the benefits of, the positive speech. That's it.
That's what it is.
It ain't even me, man. It's God, for real, man. I'm just out here, grinding, for real. That's it. And I got a book.
He got a book.
I'm an author now, man. They said I couldn't do it, man.
Y'all, reach out to Kern.
Yeah, man. Hit me up for that book. They $10, man. Listen, I remember being told by my high school guidance counselor I wouldn't even graduate high school, man.
Oh, forget him. Whoever it is.
I remember who her name is, man. I'm not even gonna call her out, man.
Names, Kern.
I know who it is, man. I know who it is, man. Caucasian lady with the gray hair. She was Caucasian and she had gray hair. I ain't gonna listen,
But
man.
what's her name though?
Man, I ain't gonna do it. I could call you out, but I could call her out, but I'm not even gonna do it. I passed that, but I remember her name, man.
What high school was this?
Hopewell High School, man.
Hopewell.
Class of 2004, man. Class of
Somebody break out the
2004.
yearbook from 2004
Yeah, man.
and look at Falcony.
There it is. My guy's
The
got it.
staff.
I remember
Where's
her
the
name
staff at?
clearly, man. I remember her telling me and my mama she told me that I wasn't gonna graduate high school.
Ooh,
She told me a
child.
whole bunch of stuff, but
Yeah.
here I am, man. I don't completed my first book.
We don't listen to the negative Nancy's.
Nah,
We good.
man. Yeah, we good.
We
over
straight.
here,
You
man.
graduated and you doing your thing.
Yeah, we good.
Okay.
Over here. Word.
Word. Okay, you guys. So we're gonna end the session with keeping it real with Candace, with Terence, aka as I know him as Kerm. And so make sure you guys reach out to Kerm and buy his book. And as I said before, we're gonna continue to promote each other and put each other out there and talk about what other people are doing in the community. So see you guys later.
Tune in.
Oh yeah, and the Culture Club podcast is
Yeah.
right after
after
this.
6
Hey
o'clock.
man, shout out to the well, baby. Shout out to the whole well, man. We live.
Okay.